Awesome. So welcome to the July 20th SASO University group call. During the call, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, number one, share two pretty cool announcements. One is in the Facebook group already, one is not. And then I'm going to answer Naman's question, which is essentially how do we create content that is going to help us generate leads? Because that at the end of the day is going to be the hardest component of most businesses, right? It's the lead generation, transitioning the lead to an actual paying client, because we don't want to just shovel dog crap leads into your funnel. That's not going to do anything. That's going to be a colossal waste of time. And if anything, it's going to cost you more time and money than having zero leads. We'll cover that. And then, of course, as always, questions, comments, concerns, requests, please feel free to interrupt me with just raising the hand at the bottom. So first things up, the two announcements. Number one, I just dropped in the private group a social media CRM and financial tracking sheet. Essentially what the CRM does. And there's a video training, but essentially what it lets you do is it lets you track your social media leads. So Naman, that's going to help answer your question. I'll actually share that as I get into the answer. And then there's also a financial tab on there. So for those of you who are like wondering, where am I with profit margin? Where am I with revenue? Where am I with expenses? All of that. The only thing I don't have calculated, which you can add, is the taxes. That's the only thing I don't have calculated because I don't know how you're doing your taxes, but I will show you that document. The second announcement, and this is one I'm pretty excited for. Next week, we're going to do a trial run with a VA. So for most of you, most of you know, we're going to be bringing on a VA to where you guys can basically just pester them with project requests. So you can tell them like, hey, I'm stuck with domain redirecting. I'm trying to do an automation. I'm doing X. I'm not getting Y. I'm trying to do this thing. I don't know how to do it. Can you help me? So I want to keep most of the focus for the VA on the technical side, on the setup side. If you want to bother them about some light funnel creation, you can. My recommendation is always doing the funnel creation myself, just because I think most of us have a marketing focus. So it's really nice to do your own copywriting. It's also really hard to do copywriting in another language, as good as their English can be. Most of them aren't native English speakers. They're usually ESL, so English is a second language. So heads up, they're not going to come in and be like, oh, I go to the most beautiful funnel ever. That's not going to happen. If you need help with the funnel, look at the step 2 video, the evolution of the vertical SWAS funnel. That's going to be your best bet, which I will very lightly cover again today. And then, of course, I basically just want to see how it goes, because it'll be a 1-week trial to see how you guys feel about this process. What we'll most likely do is there'll be a Google form. I'll add the VA to the group. There'll be a Google form. You basically fill out the form and then you contact the VA. The VA checks the form to see the status of your project. They reach out to you and you hash out the details in the Facebook group or in the Facebook Messenger. That's kind of where the plan is now. The long-term goal is to have a Zoom room to where you can hop in and they help you with whatever you need. So hopefully you guys enjoy that. Anything. Also in the next couple of weeks, we're going to have white labeled videos and GIFs that you guys can use and embed that will all be free to the members. So I'm trying to make this as powerful as possible. What I'll do is I'll go ahead and jump into Naman's question. I'll restate it and then I'll go into it. Again, interrupt me wherever you guys want to. This is for you. So Naman asked basically, and correct me if I'm wrong here. He's saying there's 3 ways to generate leads, right? There's outbound, there's inbound, and then there's paid. How do we use it or how do we go about it? Is that about the gist?
Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
Okay, perfect. So number one, I know Naman is a newer member, so probably haven't had time to go see it, but I do want to cover it. Go look at the training. Step 3 is going to be about creating inbound content. Step 4 is going to be about dirty scaling, which is where you're reaching out and you're actually doing some dirty growth. And we call it dirty because your hands are getting dirty. You're DMing these people directly. So I'm going to cover that as I go, but I'm also going to have newer stuff for the people who've already seen that training to make it as beneficial as possible during this call. So number 1, everybody knows step 1 is going to be creating the content. Step 2 is going to be doing the outreach. When you're creating the content, the purpose of the content is not to go viral. That's not the purpose. The purpose is simply establishing your authority in the content. There have been people, if you scroll all the way back to the early stages of SASO University, like I say early, but it was like, 7-8 weeks ago, there are members who had 0 followers. And what they would do is they post these really low quality videos. If you're here, I'm sorry. They post these, actually, they're not here, but they post these really low quality videos. Then they would do outreach. And here's what happened. They would message me 3 or 4 days later and they'd be like, hey, somebody commented on my video and they want to work with me. And the video would have one view, one like, one comment, and it would all be from the guy that wants to work with them. Why? Because when you cold call, when you cold email, when you do in-person solicitation, there's no way for the lead to basically say, you're valid, you know what you're doing, blah, blah, blah. If I message anybody on social media or if anybody messages you on social media, what's the first thing you're going to do? You're going to click on the profile. You're going to be like, who is this weirdo that's messaging me? You can be like, well, do I know them? How are we connected? Why are they messaging me? Right. When they do that, we want them to basically see content or niche rich content. So if you're working with, and this doesn't have to be super niche down, right? Uh, Obviously, the more niche down, the better, but it doesn't have to be. So if you're working with blue collar home based businesses, so we're talking landscape, plumbers, electricians, people who are going to the home, right? Even cleaning services, even bug spray, like the pest control, right? They're going to the door. If you're focused on that, then all of your content needs to be focused on that industry. If you're super specific and you're saying, hey, I only work with underwater basket weavers or in-flight missile repairmen, like some most obscure things you can think of, your content needs to be focused on that niche entirely. And this is where, yeah, Tony, that's like an old military joke. But this is where you essentially, and where I'm going to actually transition to some really cool stuff for the people who've been here for a while too. So essentially what you're doing is you're creating a hub of content. That's step three. You will always, always, always do step three. If you remember the training, step three is a must. You have to make content for your training. Very, very quick recap on the step three for most of you, because most of you are not doing it. You're making short form content on, let's just say Facebook to start. If we're starting somewhere, if you're picking one platform, it's gotta be Facebook. With your content, you're posting 6 times a week. This is the format you're going to do. You're going to do 2 posts a week. This is typed up. 2 images a week. So like a quote, like think of the Gary Vee Instagram where he has a quote. It's like a picture of him and it's got like some, cringy, inspiring quote about how his industry is the best or how 40-year-olds still have their whole life ahead of them, right? Like that he's always talking about like, you're always young, right? He's talking to a 98-year-old man. He's like, oh, you've got forever to live. Like he's always doing that kind of stuff, right? And essentially, you're doing 2 posts like that a week, and then you're doing 2 short form videos a week. And we're using problem agitating content. The structure is in the training, but essentially it's problem agitation. You're poking the wound. You're not saying, do not say, here's 3 tips and tricks. If you go look at my old TikTok, Imran can call me out right now. That's all I had was like tips and tricks. It doesn't do very well. It's all friend zoning content. We don't want to friend zone. We want to close. It's all friend zoning content because they got what they needed and they left. And they view you as someone who will give me information and that's it. The information you provide, you're still going to provide those tips and tricks, but you're going to do it in a way that elicits an emotional connection. How do we do that? We agitate the problem. This is for the guys who've been here for a while too. Don't do this with a question. Don't do this with a question. What do I mean? If I say, hey, are you a coach? Who's seen it? I'd be shocked if anyone didn't hear these yet. Are you a coach, consultant, or agency owner? What's the first thing you do? Swipe, gone. If I say, hey, are you a blue collar worker? Swipe, gone. You do XYZ? Swipe, gone. Instead, what you do is what we covered in the last call. You agitate with a statement. And so here's something, and I'm just going off the dome. So I may stumble a little bit, but you agitate with a statement. So you don't say, hey, are you a blue collar worker? You're going to say, I work with, or I can say this, right? I know you're probably using social media to get leads and you probably tried it for 2 months and threw it away. And here's what's really going to piss you off. I work with somebody in your industry and we only use social media to close leads and we're crushing. Because right there, I said a statement. So they listen. It's not the red flag swipe, right? You're basically agitating the problem. You're basically saying, you can't do it, but I can. And I'm going to show you exactly how. Then we frame. Why do I care that Amram is speaking? Why do I care that Josh is speaking? Why do I care that Catherine is speaking? Why do I care that anyone is speaking? You have to frame. And if you don't believe me, if me or who doesn't know like C-Bum, like the new like fitness guy, he's like everywhere. He's one of the really big athletes, right? Or Arnold Schwarzenegger. Everybody knows Arnold, right? If I am telling you, here's my workout plan, you'll be like, oh, okay, cool. If Arnold's like, here's my workout plan, you'll be like, all right, I'm listening. Like, go ahead. We could say the exact same thing. It doesn't matter. You're going to listen to him over me. He could even know less than me, and that you would listen to him over me because his frame, his social proof is intact, right? My social proof isn't there. But we have to establish the authority. What does that look like? I'm so and so. I do XYZ, insert testimonial screenshot or insert testimonial statement. So, for example, if I'm pissing off lawn care guys, and I always use this example, if I'm pissing off lawn care guys, I'm going to say, I bet many of you are using social media to close clients. You probably tried it for 2 months. Maybe you thought you had to shake your butt on TikTok and it didn't work and you threw it away and you said, that's for kids. That's not for me. Here's what's crazy. My clients don't do any of that and they're closing every single day. As you say, the problem, frame. I'm Alec. I work with lawn care businesses. Uh, and, and then I'm going to frame myself. So that's who I am. I'm going to frame myself. Our last lawn care guy, we actually helped him make $28,000 in his 8th week of working with us. Now he's making 6 figures a year and he barely does any of the work. Or now he's making 6 figures a year and he can finally afford that new F-150. That's the frame. Now, how do we go into the close? If I come up to you and just like a little quick side story, I spent a lot of time in the Middle East when I was in the military. And you would go through these, I don't know if there's any veterans or anybody who spent time in the Middle East. You'd go through these like little marketplaces and everybody would be selling to you. Oh, buy this, buy this, buy this. And they're all selling to you. If you have like a Facebook account, if you go to your spam or your message request, you probably have a bunch of people who are like, hey, I do this, I do this, I do this. Hire me, hire me. I'm a VA. I'm a go high level expert. I'm a whatever. Um, I did nothing. So I appreciate the comment, but it was like Paul Blart, but like the first 15 minutes where he's just a loser eating pie in the desert. But I appreciate the nice comment. Um, but essentially, you have a lot of people who are saying, I do this, I do that, I do this. If I come up to you and I'm like, oh, hey, do you want to buy this? It's all you, me transaction. It's awkward. So what you do after you frame yourself as a solution is you tell a story. The story goes like this. Here's how my client was before me. Here's what it was like when they reached out to me. Here's what it's like now. Because if I tell you, oh, come work with me, I'm going to make you a lot of money. Cool. Maybe, maybe not. No, you're good, Tim. Maybe, maybe not, right? But if I tell you, oh, I work with this other person who's doing exactly what you're doing. And, at first they were stuck here. I'm resonating with my audience, right? Remember, we have to do that in the step 1 training. You have to understand your avatar and understand their pain points. Here's where he was before he met me. I reached out to him or he reached out to me. It was awkward. Acknowledge that it's awkward because you're essentially outlining what it's going to be like when they reach out to you. Asking for help is always a little awkward. That's fair. Acknowledge that. Anything that's awkward, acknowledge it really quickly and then move past it. So, hey, he was stuck here. He was doing all the work himself. He didn't know how to scale on his own because he was working the business and in the business. I reached out to him. He was super hesitant. He was super skeptical. I understood that. So I offered him this risk reversal, right? So I'm not saying, oh, work with me. I'll give you this risk. I'm putting it in the story. I offered him a risk reversal. He finally did it. 8 weeks later, he sends me a text message. I made him 28K in a single week out of 8 phone calls. And then he sent me, and this is a true story. He sent me a gift of like this limited edition whiskey drop. It was super touching, blah, blah, blah. And then you can end with a call to action or you can put the call to action in the description. So that's essentially what a short form content looks like. It's way more enticing because I've connected with the audience using an emotional connection. I'm not doing a feature dump. Nobody cares about high level the way we care about high level. I'll tell you that right now. They don't care. Every B2B business, I've said this 1,000 times, I'll say it 20,000 more. Every B2B business boils down to one thing. I'm making you money. I'm making you money either directly through more leads, more clients, higher closing, higher conversion, whatever, or I'm making you money indirectly. And I'll give you an example. I work with a videographer company or a video production company, and we basically say, hey, and it's B2B, hey, we will run your social media marketing for less than the price of one minimum wage employee. You get our whole team, our whole million view team for less than the price of one minimum wage employee. So now we're saying we're going to make you money and we do it for way cheaper than anything that you can afford or cheaper than you imagine, right? I'm saving and making you money because if you save money, you make money. If you make money, you make money. So everything is B2B. So in your videos, you use your short form In your short form videos, you use your PAC, your problematic hidden content. Go watch step 3. In your posts, the text posts, you can do very short versions of PAC. People used to do who hasn't seen where people post and it's like 50 paragraphs and they're all one sentence each. Yeah, everyone's seen that, right? Does anybody not know what I'm talking about? All those like cringy posts. Okay, cool. So that is gone and dead. I don't know when the last time I read one is. I doubt many of you guys read the whole thing. You might read like 3 lines and you're like, this is boring. I'm out of here. Keep it short, sweet, to the point. Be assertive, not passive, not aggressive. State your claim. And remember, when you're telling the story, you want to talk about what does not work anymore, what works now, right? What doesn't work, what works now. So for example, cold calling doesn't work anymore. Like who's tried cold calling before? Just like a emoji, raise a hand. Who's tried cold calling? Cool. Has anybody gotten higher than a 1% conversion rate on cold calling? So you call 100 people, you're closing one person consistently. Has anybody gotten that? Perfect. No one has, right? So right there, I've established authority because I've said something that is true that you have emotionally resonated with. And here's where I'm going to pull the emotion out of it, right? Yeah, 1 out of 500 is probably closer. And here's where I pull the emotion out of it. How frustrating was it? Frustrating is an emotion. How frustrating was it when you would do those calls and you just kept getting rejected? Like you probably felt your entrepreneurial spirit dying just a little bit every single rejected call. And then you probably thought to yourself, no, I got to be motivated. I got to finish it. I got to do like 50 calls a day. And then what did it feel like going to bed, not getting a single call and then repeating that 5 days? And then the calls that did answer, maybe those leads stayed with you, but I bet you they were really terrible and low quality leads, right? Am I far? Am I hitting the point or am I far off? Exactly. And guess what? I've never done cold calling for my business a day in my life, but I just resonated with at least one person. So now he understands, and I'm just using Nadeem as an example because he was engaging. Now he knows that whatever I say next, he's probably going to have some kind of connection with. Because if he's tired of that old way, I bet you he wants a new way. So what if the new way was just doing this over social media? Why social media? And then I revert back to what I said at the beginning of the call, right? Because on social media, you can see who I am, you can fact check me, you can BS, you can make sure I'm not full of BS, right? That whole thing. And then if you look at the step 3 training to further insert your personality into the profile, we use a hybrid profile. So what is the hybrid profile? It's your face as the profile picture of the account, even if it's a business account. I don't want to talk to, do you think about Mike? I have no idea who that is. I hope Mike Show doesn't see this and crucify me or hunt my children down, but I have no idea who Mike Show is. But essentially you're injecting your personality into the profile. So it's your profile image. I don't want to talk to, like for me, my logo is like a S triangle. It's like the shape of a funnel, or SASO University. Nobody wants to talk to the triangle. They want to talk to me. And for those of you who are thinking, what if they don't like me? Perfect. Let's let them figure that out now before they get on a call. And then they go, oh, you're ugly. You're annoying. I hate how you speak. And then they dip. So you have to be in your content. It's going to actually help your feelings more than hurt your feelings. I'd rather get a nasty comment than someone hop on a call and be like, ew. And the call. I think that would like, I don't know. I might have to start a diary just to record that one emotional damage point. But we use the hybrid profile. And then of course, like I mentioned, the 6 posts a day or 6 posts a week, 2 text, 2 image, 2 video is the minimum. Now, is anybody thinking, why am I doing different types? Why not just a bunch of video? Is that crossing anybody's mind? Okay, cool. Long story short, people consume content differently. So some people prefer text, some people prefer image, some people prefer video. Some people like video, but they don't want to consume it every time. So it's really nice to sprinkle it. So we do 2 of each and then take a day off once a week, or you can do all 7 days and repeat whatever has better engagement. So what we're doing, and this is the part where it's really cool, and I have more training coming on this, which I think you guys are going to love. What we're doing is we're building a hub. When we're doing the outreach, watch the step 1 training, watch the step 4 training. I have more trainings coming on, more ways to outreach to people. Essentially, there's 2 ways to do it. Look at their profile and you say, hey, you're missing XYZ. I can do it for you. And you get super, super direct with it. That's a kind of a risky play. Or option B, you essentially elicit an emotional connection and you have to let them know, hey, I value your opinion. And what does that look like? If you're in this, most everyone's in the SASO University group, search the outbound marketing challenge or the outbound outreach challenge. All you're doing is 4 messages. Personalized message where you sound like a business owner. You do not sound like a customer and you do not go too directly. So what do I mean by that? Look at the profile, comment on it. As a business owner, if you're talking to a business owner, you're not going to be like, oh, what's your price for this? Oh, what do you charge for that? Oh, do you offer this service? That's a client. That's a customer. You speak to them like a business owner. Hey, I noticed you're using social media really well to generate clients. Great. Like you're doing that super well. Great quality images right there. That's all. You don't ask a question, nothing. They'll reply with a thank you, whatever. Maybe they don't reply, move on. Just a personalized message. When they reply, here's what you're going to say. Hey, you know, I actually work with SASO funnels. I actually work with blah, blah, blah. I would love to get your opinion on something. They said, you wait for them. I'd love to get your opinion on something just because I like what you're doing. At least in the United States, if you're working with, I'm going to answer your question in 2 seconds. If you're working with anybody in the United States, they love to give their opinion on everything, especially business owners, because usually they're bootstrapped where they did all the work themselves, but they love to give their opinion. So you say, hey, I'd like to get your opinion on something. You wait for them to reply. And then when they reply back, you basically just go, I would love to, review your website, love to review your digital presence. Would you be opposed to a free marketing audit that you can send to your marketing team? And if you go read the whole post, I don't want to go into it too much, but essentially it explains the soft sales behind it, the techniques behind it, saying, would you be opposed? If you say, would you be opposed? What are they going to say? They're going to say no. And maybe they meant no, don't send it to me, but no also is yes for that question, right? Would you be opposed? No, I wouldn't be opposed. Or if they say, yeah, let's say they're saying, yes, I would be opposed, but you can interpret that as, yeah, go ahead and send it. So whether they say no or yeah, boom, you send the marketing audit. Marketing audit, there's a checklist in the training, a full checklist. I'm going to pull it up right now. A full checklist you can review. You're essentially just going to go through the checklist. You are not going to do it on the recording. I use Loom. It's like $10 a month, or you can do a free trial where it's just 5-minute videos. Like you can do like 25 starting. So what you're going to do is you're just going to, and I'm looking at Nadim's question. Naman, I didn't forget about you, but I'm looking at Nadim's question because it directly correlates. How are you visually presenting the marketing audit? Nope. What you do is I open a bunch of tabs on my screen and it's their website, every social media, and then their Google business profile. And I basically go through it. And before I record, I have all the tabs up, but I look through all of this and I answer all these questions. And you don't have to go through and type the answer here, but like, let's say I'm working with an electrician, products or services. So I want to look at the range of products or services and I'm going to look at their GMB and see if it's all offered. I'm going to pick another one at random. Evaluate the competitor's website design and user experience, including navigation, responsiveness, and load times. I want to see how fast it's loading. I want to see, is it user friendly? Is it visually appealing? I want to go, if anyone doesn't know, you can right click and you can click inspect and it will actually open the mobile view on your desktop. I'm going to do that as well and see what does the mobile look like. I have a lot of people in other groups who will message me like, oh, can you look at my website? And when I look at it on the mobile, on desktop, it's beautiful. On mobile, it's not formatted right at all. It's awful. And so those are all things that we cover, right? And then you send it back over to them and you basically say, hey, send it to your marketing team, or I could do it for you if you're interested, blah, blah, blah. It's much more efficient having them say, yes, send me the Loom, the marketing audit, and then you do it for them. Naman's question, how do you generate the ideas and everything to fulfill this content creation? Perfect. So when you go and you reach out to these individuals, who knows off the top of your head, what is the average conversion rate for outbound that we're looking for with using an antithetical claim? Does anybody know off the top of their head? Yeah, Casey. Or were you just telling me, were you just showing the number? Oh, you're muted on the, so 5 is in the range, 3 to 5. Yeah, we're looking at a 3 to 8% conversion rate on outbound. That is like you've hit gold. Good job. If anyone's thinking, wow, that's really high. I have people who are hitting 10% conversion rate on outbound. It's disgusting. It's absolutely filthy. Like they had to stop doing outbound because they were getting so many clients and they haven't even started on inbound. So we're using antithetical claims. Recap of antithetical claim, whatever the market's doing, you do the opposite and you ostracize it. Sound familiar? What are we doing in problem agitating content? Hey, the old way doesn't work because it does XYZ, right? 50 calls a day on cold calling is take a long time. It kills your spirit. It's frustrating, right? The emotional connection. Here's the new way. The new way is using social media. Here's the benefit of social media. It's much more time effective. You can talk to multiple clients at once. That's the facts. Let's get into the emotion. Now, all of a sudden, you're much more efficient. It's easier to be disciplined. You're getting results much faster because you're actually warming them up. They can actually see your profile. They can actually see that you know what you're doing. Now, let's answer Naman's question. He says, what about the content creation? So number one, we want to agitate problems within our industry. So you have to know the avatar you're speaking to, whether that's very granular or micro level, or whether it's a broad. Like if I'm talking about a business, a really broad question or a really broad problem for businesses is quality generation. Lead quality is a big issue, right? That's every business. If I'm talking about a specific business, somebody throw me out an industry they're working with. Video. I know for a fact that videographers will invest heavily in their equipment, but they will not invest heavily in their business. So they'll compete really aggressively on the brand new Sony A7 II. But when it comes to investing in a business, you mentioned 197, 297 a month, all of a sudden they get really nervous. So, but they want their customer to invest in a package that's 10 times the size of yours. But when it comes for them to invest, they're really scared. So they understand, right? Right. Yeah, exactly. Right. Like what's a Sony A7 II go for? Like thousands, I think.
It's like 2,500 bucks or something like that.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. A74 body is 2K. Yeah. That's not, but if you tell them, oh, like we're going to, create a marketing thing and it's going to generate you these high ticket clients and blah, 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 even though you're going to make 20x ROI, they're still going to be like, ooh, is that everybody? No, but I'm associating with a problem. Catherine said dental. What's the big issue with dental? Um, I'll answer that in 2 seconds, Naman. Big issue with dental. If a dentist sees this, I'm sorry. Dentists are not always the best people to work with. They also have a lot of gatekeepers. Dentists can be really tight people, right? Also, so that's for you as a business owner handling them. There's also gatekeepers. That's for you as a business owner. But with a dentist, you have to be really strategic with your outbound marketing. So when you get into paid marketing, there's a really great advertisement. I think almost everyone's seeing where it's like this family and that they're missing teeth, but he's also missing like an eyebrow and half his head's shaved. And they're like, notice how the first thing you noticed was the tooth missing. Like, come get your teeth fixed. Like that was a really good advertisement. But for you reaching out to dentists, right? Well, let me finish that thought. So that's paid. Most of dental is going to be SEO. So Catherine, if you're working with dentists, I would help focus heavily on learning SEO. And if you watch the training, it's called the best vertical SWAS fulfillment or offer. If you watch the training, here's what I say. Either A, learn SEO and master it, or B, learn SEO enough so that when you talk to other people, they can't scam you. So for example, if you don't, I'll ask you a question. You don't have to reply out loud. You can type it if you prefer. But Catherine, do you know how much like monthly SEO services should go for on average? So right. So if I told you 300 or if I told you 3,000, you have no idea if I'm, full of crap. So learn that enough so that when you talk to people, because what they're going to do, especially when you're looking for fiber contractors, and there's some great ones out there, there's also some scams out there. When they're talking to you and they say, oh yeah, it's 800 a week. No, see ya. I'm looking at roughly 1,100 a month. That would be a really, really high quality VA for SEO, and they can probably handle 2 to 3 clients. And then you can ask them, hey, what software are you using? And then you can say, hey, I'm actually going to purchase the software because I want to maintain a visual on all the audits and I'm going to give you access to it. So I'm not paying your software fee. That saves me money. You can get a bigger package where you can have thousands of clients and you can have tons of VAs all working with you. So learn SEO just enough to not get scammed. And that kind of goes into the organizational structure, which I'm going to pull up next. And Naman, I still see your question. I haven't forgotten you. But essentially what you want to do with your daily schedule, whenever you start your business day for the business, not like I wake up at 4 a.m. and do tantric yoga. I'm not talking about like that, right? I'm talking about like the actual business stuff. Okay. For the actual business stuff, when you start your business day, if we're talking order of priority, This is the order of priority. Whether you agree with me or not, I really, really don't care. Number one, you have to do step three, which is content creation. You can do that all on one day of the week, and then you can use your social media planner, which is built into high level, or you can post it the day of. It doesn't really matter, but you have to have that going, because what we want to avoid is we want to avoid what's called feast or famine. What's feast or famine? I get a client, I work on the client, I'm done. I have no clients lined up. Why? Because you didn't do step three. You didn't make content that brings in clients. So number one is uh, content creation for your inbound leads. If you are below, if you are below 10 clients, and it really depends on the price point, but let's just say 10 clients, if most of you are starting between 100 and 900 a month. If you're below 10 clients, after you make your content, you need to reach out to 10 people on Facebook. When you reach out to these people, you are not, excuse my language, you're not going in dry. You gotta warm them up. You can't just raw dog clients. It doesn't work like that. You've got to engage with the profile. You have to like and comment on the last couple of posts. You have to send a friend request, or you have to like the page, whatever it is. Then you message them. Why? Because when you do that, Facebook goes, maybe they know each other. Let's put their message in their DMs. Let's not put it in spam. Let's not put it in message request. How long does it take to engage with a profile? 30, not 30 seconds is dramatic. Like, comment, nice job. Whoa, looks good. Three different comments on three different posts. Send a friend request. I can do that in 30. I can hold my breath and be done after I'm doing that, right? Then you send your message of personalization. And guess what? Now, when they go to their notifications, they just see, you know, Josh all up and down, Michael all up and down, Jake all up and down the notifications. And now they're gonna be like, who is this guy? Then they see the nice comment and they're gonna respond. If they don't respond, here's most of the time, if you send a personalized message, right? Here's what you're dealing with. You're dealing with somebody who is probably not good at business at all because they're not engaging to a simple compliment, or their profile is dead. That's the honest to God truth. 9 out of 10 times, that's the truth. Or they have 20/20 vision and they've got the anybody watch That's So Raven, where she could like see into the future? Like she's got That's So Raven vision and she knows you're about to like send a pitch, right? That's the only two scenarios in which you're not getting a reply back. Naman says, would you recommend sending audio message straight in the DMs? I would not. Here's why. Would you like me to send you an audio message? Keep it short with your sales copy. AI is running rampant. Contractors, VAs, all these people who are jumping into the get money quick, get rich quick online, all doing the same thing. They're emulating and imitating people who are doing good copy. So what you see, right? Anytime you see all these trends, anytime you see all these trends, what's happening is that everybody is copying those trends later. What I'm trying to do is trying to show you guys how to build a long-term business. And I also try to sit as close to the top of the mouthpiece of marketing. So that way I can grab those trends before they get big. Because who's noticed already organic marketing and inbound marketing is starting to grow? Has anybody already noticed that? And I've been saying this for, if I'm looking, I'm trying to see if anyone here has been, so no one here is like one of the OG members. But if you talk to any of the OG, no, yeah, was Imram still here? I think he might have dropped.
Yeah, it used to be all paid ads.
Okay, but Imran, you remember when we first started doing coaching? Didn't I say, "Hey, this is the new trend. It's going to be inbound marketing, and everyone's going to take it over in 3 months."
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I called that months ago, and it's just going to keep repeating. And so, organic right now, inbound is going to be next. You're going to start seeing it take over, right? So, don't do the. Um, I'm saying that to answer Naman's question in a long way, and then Casey, I see your hand. I'm going to grab. I don't know if you still have a question. I'm going to make sure I don't forget you. But I'm saying that all to say, if you come off too polished, this is the best part. This is my favorite part of sales. If you come off too polished, if you come off too good at sales, you're going to turn people off. If you stutter, if you have a lisp, if you change your mind, if you use filler words, guess what? You're a real human being. And that's going to connect with people a lot, especially if you're talking about your blue collar guys who already hate technology. That's going to connect with them tremendously. So be with the voice message is a little much. When you're messaging these people, I want you to come off as almost monotone. When you're messaging men specifically, and I'm not trying to get to gender roles or So nobody call Ellen or Rosie O'Donnell and have me canceled. But when you're talking to men specifically, being really monotone is going to help you out. When you're talking to, and you have to know your industry, right? I'm not going to talk to a plumber the way I'm going to talk to a wedding photographer. Wedding photographers are usually very bubbly. If I'm talking to a female wedding photographer, I work with one. They're very bubbly. They love what they do. They're passionate. They usually love romance. Even when my wife and I hired a wedding photographer, it was a man, an older guy. Guess what? He still loved romance. He loved weddings. He had a bunch of stories. So understand who you're talking to and adjust and pivot the way you approach them based on that. But at the end of the day, if you come off and it's nice because I was kind of teasing Catherine, but I think she and Rebecca are like our only two female members, which is like great because now I can actually like use more analogies. But like for the guys, we don't really get this a lot. But Catherine, have you had people who message you and they're like, "Hey, girly, I have this slim fit tee and I have this great new product that did wonders for me." And it's always like some high school friend, and you're like, "No, they got you." Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, understanding who you're talking to is big because I guarantee if Catherine gets a message and the first line is, "Hey, girly," from someone she's been talking to in 5 years, she's going to know what the rest of the message says before she opens it. The same is going to be said if you are just regurgitating the same copy and content. Even the stuff I give you, tailor it, make it your own, adapt it to number one, you, and then number two, who you're speaking to. If you say something that doesn't feel natural coming out of your mouth, it's going to sound awkward to everybody, not just you. Uh, okay, cool. So Jacob, for you, where you're you saying talking is where you shine, knowing how to close them is where I lack. So for the people who love to talk, for the people who love to close, I'll get to that in a second. Let me grab Casey's question and then Nadim. I don't know if you raised your hand earlier or if you had a question as well. He's like, no, no, don't call me. Casey, what's up?
Uh, Real quick, we were talking about, you mentioned using high level for scheduling posts out. I started doing that. For whatever reason, my videos will go up to Instagram or to Facebook and LinkedIn without any problems. But Instagram, it kicks back every time for the reel and will not post it. But if I go in and clone it and just post it like at that moment and not schedule it out later, it'll go up. And I don't know why.
To be fully honest, I love high level, but there's when you have an all in one, which
Yeah.
it's like you're a jack of all trades, you're a master of none. But a master of one is better than a master of none, right?
Yeah.
Uh, so that's basically the where you get the saying from. But I personally, if you're going to use a scheduler and you're using Facebook and Instagram, use Meta Business Suite. It's free and they have a scheduler. And
The
then
reason the reason I was using it is because it also did LinkedIn at the same time.
yeah,
But
right.
that's fi I mean, that's fine. I can do that.
As you do more, number one, go high levels really quick. I'm sure they won't. I'm sure they'll update it and fix bugs. Number two, you can use other social media tools, right? Like social. Meta Business Suite has a scheduler where you can actually schedule content out for Instagram and Facebook only. So it's the Meta Business Suite, and you can get the app too. Um, yeah, the social planner. Yeah, what Imran said, the social planner is a little questionable. Me personally, I post it the day of, and I keep it in a Google Drive, or you can
Okay.
use a social media tool. It's really whatever you want to do, but with the content being so informal, like for the prime editing content, I'll write out my script. Well, I don't anymore, but I used to write out my script, record it, and then just post it. Now I literally just I do mostly VSLs. I don't do too much PAC, just because I've been slammed with this growing, with SASO funnels growing like crazy. Um, but yeah, that's the whole beauty of the inbound content. So I'm
Yep.
doing more long form content because it converts better for me. I'm also charging 1,300 to 6,900 a month. So it's a little different, but that's where you're gonna work up to. So the inbound content is number one. Outbound, if you're below, I'd say the lowest, I'll cover that in 2 seconds. So the lowest amount of clients that you should be having before you drop outbound is going to be 10. Once you have a good outbound going, I don't do any outreach at all. The only outreach I do, if you watch step four, the step four training, where we talk about least to most direct outreach, is group engagement. That's the only place I'm doing any outreach is group engagement where I'm commenting on posts, replying to comments under posts, none of which are mine originally. And then 1 to 2 times a month, I'll do a value bomb, which of course is covered in the step four training. With the value bomb, remember, you have to, number one, state, not like imply, you need to state, here are some issues I've seen in the group I want to help answer. You answer those questions. You answer them in, you don't go on like a whole book. Just answer them broad strokes. That's it. Broad strokes. Yeah, I love it. Broad strokes. And then at the bottom, oh, let me back up. You see a problem, you say, hey, I've seen this problem in the group. I want to answer it. You do it with broad strokes somewhere in the value bomb. I usually do it at the top. You can also do it at the bottom. You need to say the following almost verbatim. I am not selling anything. I'm not selling you anything. Are we selling something? Yes. You will not sell them. And I will get to that in a second, how you sell them without selling them. You tell them, I am not selling anything. State that. And that's going to be, I don't know if anyone, I have a daughter, so I'm watching all these little kid shows. That's a little surprise tool we're going to keep in our toolbox. Okay. I'm going to show you how we use that. We are not selling anything. And you're going to state that almost verbatim. You need to make that painfully clear. Then at the call to action is not DM me, because here's what happens. Someone says, oh, comment this and I'll DM you. No. Why? Because we always know the same thing. You're trying to get a sale. This is what you do. Comment your questions below. I'll answer everything in public to help as many people as possible. So now someone's going to comment, because they always do this, especially depending on the group and the avatar. Some schmuck is going to comment, oh, you're just trying to sell something. I'll reply and be like, hey, did you see the part where I said I am not selling anything? Reading is fundamental. Like, you don't have to be like a dick about it, but like you don't have to let them walk all over you. Don't be passive, don't be aggressive, but you can be assertive. Like, hey, did you miss it? Like, you obviously didn't read the full post. I said I'm not selling anything. I'm trying to help everybody as much as I can. Now that that's out of the way, someone who's commenting that, I feel like you've been burned before in the past. Am I pretty close? Nobody comments that because they haven't been burned before. You're not angry at something that didn't hurt you. If you are, you probably need therapy. There's no problem with saying that in a group, because everybody's thinking it. Don't be an ass. Don't say something that's going to get you in trouble. But you can say things like, hey, I'm not selling. So now what's going to happen? Anybody who says you're selling, you do that. You providing sheer value. Anybody who replies with a question, you answer it in the group. And then when they say thank you, you follow up and go, hey, I have more free help on my page. And you link your page. And on the page, what do you have? Problem agitating content, host with problem agitating content, and then screenshots of testimonials, screenshots of wins, quotes, whatever. And in the text and in the image, you also want to have your ostracizing content. So quick recap, ostracizing content. We know the old way is bad, old way bad, new way good, right? Caveman talk. You have to say old way bad, new way good. That's what you say in your ostracizing content. For anyone who's not familiar with ostracizing content, does anybody know what Scrub Daddy is? Have you seen their social media where all they do is make fun of how sponges are stinky and gross? That's ostracizing content. Who's heard of Liver King, where all he's doing is making fun of the modern day man and how they need all these tools, and he's just living on deer testicles and sunlight, right? That's ostracizing content, old way bad, new way good. And his is really interesting because he says modern way is old way is new way, right? How many commercials are doing that where they're making fun of the old, or they're making fun of their competitor? Charmin, the bears that just keep crapping themselves, right? They're always making fun of thin single ply toilet paper. Like they have a strange obsession with cleaning their butt, right? Old way bad, new way good. Competitor bad, me good. That's all you're saying in your content. You can say it in those many words. When somebody, people post all the time, so this is ostracizing content that you guys can resonate with. They go, why would somebody stay with me? I run a SaaS business. I just had a client, and you can go look at my page. This is like actually on my page. I had a client leave me for a competitor. And I replied back, what are you doing to separate yourself? What do you do? What's your competitive advantage? And they say, none, I'm reselling SaaS. That's why they left you. Because you don't have an old way good, new way bad, or old way bad, new way good. You don't have that. All you have is, oh, I do this too. Cool. Why would I pick you? That they can't answer the why me. That's what the process does, right? It answers why me. That's why we use antithetical claims. Why me? That's why we ostracize. Why we don't pick them, why we pick me, right? And all of a sudden you create your own hub. So To answer Naman's question, long form VSL better than short. VSL should be about 5 to 20 minutes. You can go up to 60. I don't recommend it. 5 to 20 minutes. The VSLs, I like to stay on the shorter end. The status delta, I like to stay on the longer end. Both are VSLs. So VSL, video sales letter, it's a sales script where you're basically saying, guess what? Surprise, surprise, problem agitating content, but you go more in depth. Framing, but you go more in depth. Old way bad, new way good, but you go more in depth. Call to action. I keep my call to actions extremely, extremely short. Because if somebody wants your contact information, they will scour the heavens and the earth to find it. I promise you. You don't have to make it as painfully as button as everybody thinks you do. You don't have to be like link in my bio and you click on the link. Go here. No, link in bio. Apply. You could have a 20-minute video. Call to action is this: link in bio. Apply today. Done. Go look at the script that I give you guys for the marketing audit. The call to action is this: hey, send it to your marketing team. Honestly, they should have been doing this a long time ago, but better late than never. And if you know the marketing script, I'm saying this verbatim without looking at it. This is how many times I've done it. They should have been doing this, but better late than never. Or my team and I could always do it for you for less than the cost of a single W-2 employee. That's my call to action. And I don't even end it there. I end it with this. Either way, best of luck. I just wanted to send this over to you because I really like what you're doing. If anybody were to pull up the Facebook page right now and look at the script, I was probably 90% accurate with that script. My call to action is one sentence. I don't care how short or how long the video is, one sentence. The longest call to action, the most call to action that I'll put in the content is where I'm actually talking to you guys and I say, hey, if you have comments, questions, requests, concerns, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. Why? Because I want to make it, I have you already here. All of you are either paying directly through Stripe or indirectly through High Level or UpHex affiliate. So what am I doing? I'm saying I need to make sure that it is painfully clear that I need you to communicate to me because I want to keep my churn low. If you leave, I lose money. If I do everything you want me to do and I provide you with all the value you want, why would you leave? It's the same exact thing for your clients, right? If they get everything they want out of you and more, if the ROI is insane, if the communication is insane, if the feedback is beautifully done and executed, if they give you bad feedback, negative feedback, and you handle it like a champ, go watch the step 6, where you talk about basically every interaction you have as a social proof, as a testimonial to what you're doing. If you handle everything professionally and respectfully, not passively, we're not letting them walk all over you. This is your business. We don't talk about this enough. It's your business. If you have a client that's pissing you off, fire them. There's a lot of money to be made. Fire them. If they're disrespectful to you, if they're degrading to you, get rid of them or charge the smile fee. Does anybody remember what the smile fee is? What's the price that you would charge to show up with a smile? If I'm dealing with a nightmare client, how much money would they have to pay me to show up with a smile? If I lose them, great. I didn't want to work with them anyway. If they stay, cool. You paid my smile fee, right? If you're paying me $2,000 a month for something I'm charging $500 for, I'll show up to work with a smile, even if I can't stand that person, right? If I'm charging $6,900 for someone I would have charged $3,500 for, that extra $3,400, guess what that goes to? It goes to me showing up and using 20 muscles in my face to smile. That's all that it goes to. And I've had people pay it. And I've had people who don't pay it. And I go, cool, I'll go to bed tonight and I'll sleep fine because I didn't want to work with them. They're a nightmare client. I've had people where I go, hey, I'm increasing the pricing because we have so much demand. I really don't. When we talk about that in the vertical SWAS offer, right? Molting clients, whether it's because of price or because they're just awful, you molt them. Like a snake sheds its skin, you just shed them of all that. You just shed yourself of all those nasty, disgusting clients. But the clients we like, we have to keep. We have to keep it very, very happy. Yeah, Naman. And then Nadeem, did you raise your hand again? Okay. Yeah, Naman, what's your question?
Hey, yeah, I just had a question. Just so like right now I'm running like a 10-day like free trial like of my kind of like system. And um I mean it's like free in terms of like what we offer, but it's like they only pay for like they have to pay for ad spend because we basically try to run ads for the realtors to generate leads. Um But then the like whenever I have like either cold call or just any kind of reach out, the thing I'm just like every other, just like a generic lead gen company, right? But we try to like, we're more of like a marketing consultancy, so it's more like, we're not just gonna hand you over leads. We'll try to nurture them and kind of do a lot more than just hand them over to you. But it's like I was kind of struggle in terms of like getting that across, especially like the fact that like I'm offering a 10-day trial that other companies may not offer is also something I guess that's like a differentiating factor. So I was like wondering, like based off like what you're talking about, how could I kind of like incorporate that?
Yeah. So, and again, I know you're newer, so I want to answer, but I also want to give you a chance to look at the training. You have to have an antithetical claim. So answering the question, why you? And the way you answer why you is you separate and you identify. So and this is what I love. I want you guys to ask these questions because we can do the coaching live really quickly, right? So you just told me other competitors are doing the same thing of running ads, correct?
Well, no, that it's like other competitors, like there's lead gen companies. So like,
Mhm.
automatically like a realtor would just think I'm one of them, but I feel like I've more to offer.
Okay. And what more do you have to offer?
So essentially, like so we use like go high level as well, right? So then it's like more like essentially using the automations. Plus, we have like a text concierge that goes through and qualifies the leads, which other companies don't do. Other companies just may run ads, but then they'll at the end of like the period, they'll just hand over like an Excel sheet of leads. Whereas we'll actually go in and qualify the leads, ask them questions, make sure that they're actually interested in buying or selling a property. And then we'll basically, get them in touch with the realtor, or the realtor can actually intercept the conversation whenever as well, because they have their sub account.
Okay, great. So what's the difference between the leads that you're handing over and the leads that your competitors are handing over?
Well, with competitors, it's like they could be working with, let's say, like 10 realtors in the same area. So either like leads are being recycled or it's just like random leads, right? So that it's like
Yeah.
for me, it's like they're exclusive leads because they're targeted through Facebook in like the specific radius. And then it's like we have the whole system in place to like filter them out.
Yeah. So what you're saying in more words, right, is you're saying my competitor does this. This is the old way, and they give you poo poo leads. I do this. I give you way higher quality leads. So you're
Correct.
basically saying if you're going to buy leads, why wouldn't you buy high quality leads that have a much higher percent chance of conversion?
Right.
So when you separate yourself, how do you become antithetical? Antithetical is basically you're going against the grain. So you have to say in your VSL, in your content, the problem you want to agitate with every business, like I said earlier, is low quality leads. So for you, and I'm not questioning your fulfillment, we've met very recently. I'm going to speak generally about the industry. And this goes for anybody. You have to ask yourself, how is my client finding clients? How are clients finding my client? Once you understand that two-way street, you want to widen that street as much as possible. And you want to send as much traffic down both lanes. That is essentially, like, for example, I've said this before with other people. I hate seeing people come to me, not come to me, but I hate people seeing, seeing people who say, I run meta ads for roofers. Why? If a tree falls on your house, at least in the United States, somebody US, I don't know how other countries operate, so I don't want to sound ignorant. I probably do already. But somebody in the US, a tree falls on your house, who do you call?
Roofer or no? What do you mean? Like,
Your insurance.
Insurance. So if a tree falls, because what's going to happen, right? Let me ask you, Naman, because you said roofer. Do you pay the roofer out of pocket or does your insurance cover it?
the insurance.
So you call the insurance company. So if I'm talking to the roofer, I'm not going to say, oh, we're going to run ads for you because immediately he's going to be like, why? What I'm going to say is, I'm going to say, hey, let's look at what insurance networks you're a part of. Let's see how we can get you listed higher in those networks. Let's see how we can get you in more networks. Let's see how we can get basically your insurance network listing or listings ranked as highly as possible. Right. And I'm going to ask them, in the past, where have you gotten clients? And they're going to say offline, website, directories, whatever. Whenever they tell me, that's where I'm going to focus on how do we become the number one person or as high up as we can to that person. So when you're talking to realtors, right, or real estate agents, ask them, where are you getting your leads? For me and for my wife and I, we just sold our home a few months ago. We looked at a home, we saw a beautiful home. We clicked the button that said connect with a realtor. The realtor started messaging us back, right? We worked with that realtor. It was great. Now, fast forward, when we went to sell, that was when we bought the home. When we went to sell the home, we went back to the same realtor. The experience was not the same. We found another realtor on social media. And guess what type of content she was making? Take a wild guess.
Problem agitating.
Problem agitating. And she's not even a client of mine. And guess what? She sells a property almost every single day. She's making bank. And that town is a small town. She just sold a plot of land. Like, what? A plot of land in like, we're not talking, I just moved to Florida. We're not talking Florida. We're talking about like Central Virginia, banjos and beer bellies. Okay. Plot of land in a state full of land. She is phenomenal. Why? Because the content she makes and she's good at what she does. So understand where they're getting their leads, make content, take approaches, avenues to basically capitalize on that. And for you, you would love the step one training, which I'm actually going to go back and I'm going to be redoing all the trainings and improving the quality, adding more options. I'm going to make them bite sized because right now the trainings are roughly an hour a piece. I'm going to make them bite sized, so 15 to 20 minutes a piece. I'm going to have more outreach methods, more ways of putting together your offer, all things that I've gotten feedback from you guys to improve upon. But for you, Naman, how can you stand out? That is the question. Why? So that's the question. How do we stand out? Number two, we use antithetical claims. That's the answer. Why do we use antithetical? Because the minute you do the opposite is the minute you stand out. Scrub Daddy, when it first came out, why did it go crazy? Because it's an all abrasive sponge. It is the polar opposite by definition of what a sponge is. If I tell you sponge and you go to grab a Scrub Daddy, you're like, what the heck is this? It's antithetical. If I tell you, hey, I'm going to generate you a bunch of leads, but we're going to have them, you're not reaching out to them, they're reaching out to you. That's antithetical. All you do is you say, what's the current trend? You pick one or every component and you do the opposite. So you don't have to be like completely opposite. You can just be opposite in a certain aspect. So for example, hey, I'm going to get you 10 free leads. Hey, I'm going to get you 10 paid leads, or I'm going to get you not 10 free leads. I'm going to get you 10 free clients. How am I going to do that? I'm going to do that by driving so many high quality leads to your website that you will naturally convert them. Even with a 0.01% conversion rate, you will convert 10 free leads. And it's going to be so good. And you're going to be so happy about it that once we're done, you're going to ask me how we can keep working together. And if not, enjoy the 10 free clients and I'll be out of your hair. Where's the risk? You're making money, much more money before I am. Have you seen, by the way, like our realtor, not our realtor, but the buyers of the home that we just sold? I saw their financial like breakdown of where the commission check was going. Their realtor they had a lead gen company that we sold a home. It was very low because of where we lived in the state. We sold a home. It was super low. It was a $6,400 commission check for both the buyer and the seller. Guess how much out of the $6,400 went to the lead gen company? Oh, that's fine. But guess how much out of the 6,400 went to the lead gen company? It was $2,600. Just took a whole bite out of that check. Don't like, and all they did was probably the same thing that you're doing. So, and okay, look right there. I don't take any commissions from any closings. That's antithetical. That is very against the market. You probably have realtors who are sick and tired of losing commission checks. Right there, I just agitate the problem. I'm not going to say, hey, how many of you realtors? No, I have a realtor client came to me. They were sick of losing their commission checks. They were also shocked to find out I don't touch commissions. Blah, 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 blah. I'm Naman. This is what we do. Former testimonial, former case study. Here's the story, call to action. Right there. There's your PAC. You want a full case study? Watch the step 6 training. Basically, you just collect all the before and after analytics and dashboards and the before and after quantitative and qualitative information. And you make a VSL. What's the structure of the VSL? PAC, framing, story with all the before and after, call to action. That's all. That is like the key difference between content that closes, and content that friend zones. And so very quickly, I'll say this, when we're doing the outreach, right? We talk about a 3 to 8% conversion rate. That means best case scenario, 92% of the people you reach out to are going to reject you, right? We talk about in the step one training, the ultimate downsell. What is the ultimate downsell? And Naman, you asked this question earlier. How do I find content to make? Ask them. Lead client interviews, ask them. If I'm working with a realtor, if I'm working with tattoo artists, if I'm working with HVAC, if I'm working with dentists, if I'm working with videographers, it doesn't matter. If they reject you, you can say this, hey, no problem. If you want to, you can follow my account, and in exchange, I will make content fixing any problem that you tell me right now. So what's going to happen? Number one, if they ignore you, cool. They already rejected you to begin with. That's worst case scenario. Best case, they follow you and they tell you, hey, I'm struggling with XYZ. Cool. Guess what your next piece of content is going to be about? What they just told you. Now, let's say they don't follow you and they tell you the content. Great. You're going to make content that resonates with somebody in the industry, and that's going to resonate with every single other person that you reach out to or that's already following you. They're going to tell you the problem they face, right? Like, watch this. Somebody raise your hand if you don't mind coming off the mic besides Naman. Somebody, because I want to get his question. I don't want to forget. Somebody, whoever's fine coming off the mic, and I'm going to ask you a question. Cool. Casey, come off the mic real quick. Check this out. Casey, what's something you're struggling with that if I fixed right now would make you money?
Yeah.
If you could free up 5 hours of my day, it would probably make me a lot of money.
Perfect. Pause. Could anybody else on this call benefit from 5 hours additional freed up to work on your business? So if Casey tells me that problem and he leaves and I never see Casey again, I just got problem agitating content that's going to resonate with every single other person on the call.
Even if it was like 2 hours, you'd still do it.
Yeah, if it was like 2 hours. Exactly. And what if I could make sure not only I keep you productive by giving you a schedule, what if I could even give you a document that helps track everything so you don't have to remember everything? Could that help? Cool. Check this out. Just drop this in the group. It's on the training. It's live right now. This is the ultimate social media CRM. And then, Damon, I see your question. Let me go through this real quick. So social media CRM, I covered this in the training, but I want to do it very quickly. You put their name, company, website, link to their profile. So for me on Facebook, right? And then if I click on that, it takes me right to the profile so I can go back to our message and conversation. What stage are they in? And I cover how to manipulate and change all this. So if you see something you don't like, watch a training. I'll show you how to fix it. But stage, prospect, lead, interested, booked, contract, payment link sent, closed, follow-up, lead lost. So let's say this guy is maybe he's a lead, right? Next step, it tells me what you can put, what to do. So, hey, I need to do my initial outreach. I need to do a marketing audit. I need to attend whatever call we booked. I need to send the payment link. I need to onboard this person. I need to follow up in 24 hours. How many of you have had a person that says, hey, I'm busy this week. Can you reach out to me next week? I'm going to follow up next week. And then I'm going to put the value. This is like if you're talking to someone, let's say I told this person it's $297 a month. Let's say I talk to somebody else and I tell them it's $497 a month for the same thing. I can keep this organized to make sure that I'm not saying the wrong number and losing money or turning them off because I accidentally said double the price we agreed upon. The status, open, won, lost, abandoned if they ghosted you, or you're in the negotiation stage. Source, you can start tracking where you're getting the most amount of leads and or the most amount of rejections, and you can figure out where do I need to invest time? Where do I need to maybe reduce time because I'm not doing so hot on this platform? And then if they leave, the loss reason, maybe they ghosted you, no reply. They said you were too expensive. They don't want more work. They don't want more money. I've seen this a few times. They don't trust me or they're not ready. And so essentially what happens is for those loss reasons, you start tracking those and you go, cool. If I'm having a lot of too expensives, I need to either show the value better or I need to start lower on the ascension model. And then once you come into clients, you can actually come over here and you can even put the client and you can say, name, email, contact preference. Remember, we want to establish the contact preference. That's a big thing. A lot of people say like, oh, well, I tried calling them, they don't answer. Profile link again, status. Are they in a trial? Are they active? Did they leave? Did they cancel? Or maybe they missed a payment. I need to reach out. You can share this with your VA and they can do some of the outreach for you. Then you put your monthly rates here and it calculates your MRR for you. Here's where it gets fun. Financials. You put all of your expenses here. You put all of the price per month here. It calculates it for you, adds it up for you per month and per year. Then you have your income sources. This is automatically pulled from the previous tab. So it's saying and I just threw random numbers, right? I'm making 2,300 a month, right? It shows my revenue per month. It shows my annual revenue. It shows my monthly profit, my annual profit, and my profit margins. And the reason you see two columns here is because I can come here and let's say, this is what I talk about in the training. Let's say you have an affiliate link for Service Titan. If you're working with like the at-home guys, and you could come in here, you could say, oh, maybe it's 150 a month I'm getting right now. And it will increase the number for you. And it increased everything for you. And so you can track all your financials because you know where your lead is, you know when they're a client, and you know your financials. And if you want to change any of the fields, you just come in here and you just change it here and it changes it all automatically for you. So that right there is going to help you stay organized to make sure you never forget to follow up again. And so part of your daily schedule now is inbound content, outbound content. When you're doing your outbound content, guess where you're going? You're going to your ultimate social media CRM and financial tracker. Once you close them, you move over to the financials and you watch your revenue go up, which is a phenomenal feeling. I like making money. I don't know about you guys. I love making. And then after your inbound content, your outbound content, you go to fulfillment. So you got to keep the clients you have happy, right? This is one of my favorite things to do. I like to essentially check in with my people twice a month. Every 2 weeks, I do a happy interaction and a sad interaction. It's a kind of a childish way to explain it, but this is basically what you're doing. You reach out to them, the ones that you don't talk to every day or every week, and you go, hey, just checking in. Like your strict SaaS clients, right? The ones that don't want to upgrade. Hey, just checking in. Just want to see, what are you happy with? Do you have any wins? You want them to associate you with a positive interaction. Any wins, anything going well? What are you happy with? Share your success with me. Anything that you like about the software. The next interaction you have with them is a sad interaction, negative comments. Hey, is there anything slowing you down? Are you hitting any bottlenecks? Is there anything that's giving you frustration? And what you're doing is you're essentially trying to get ahead of them getting frustrated and then quitting after 3 months because they were frustrated for 3 months. And they never voiced their opinion, right? That's why I'm always asking you guys questions, comments, concerns, requests. I'm trying to pull everything out of you. Testimonials. I want to hear your wins. I'm trying to pull that out of you so I can establish and maintain a positive relationship. You can do this too. Check in. What's going well? Check in. Hey, what's not going well? With the things that are not going well, I'm having trouble with leads. Oh, I don't know if you know this, but I actually can help you with that. And then you can even upsell them into an inbound marketing program, an organic marketing program, a paid marketing program. So check in with your people, keep them happy. You can add that on the CRM and you can say, hey, I need to follow up with this person in 2 weeks. And when I do so, here's what I need to ask. So you can do this in a high level as well. I like to start with a Google Sheets CRM because it's just very easy to manage and manipulate before you start realizing, oh, this is how I can do it for my own business. So there's just a really easy way for that pipeline, even on the social media stage. Yeah, Naman, what was your question? Did you have oh yeah.
Yeah, you already answered it. It's all good.
Oh, perfect. So any other questions? Okay, cool. So the next part, and this is where I have training coming out as well. So the social media content is going to be doing the selling for you, right? Because if you push them to the page, whether it's through the DMs, whether it's through group engagement, you push them to the DMs, your social media content is going to close for you. Why? Because if you're posting the problem agitating content, if you're posting VSLs, if you're posting status delta, that is where your call to action is going to be. The call to action is going to be in that content, which pushes to a link in bio. The link in bio, they either can purchase or they sign up for a call. However that looks. Watch the step 2 training. I have more training coming on it, but watch the step 2 training on the funnel evolution. There's 2 flows in there. One is with SMS, which pay attention to your A2P SMS. I don't know, just a quick side tangent. Texting is becoming a pain in the butt. Every campaign I'm seeing is getting, not mine, but I'm seeing a campaign is getting rejected. I'm seeing like, I think they're going to pivot very quickly because of how many people are abandoning SMS. It is very bad. Guess what you can do in high level as an automation? You can do Instagram messages. So you can treat Instagram as where you nurture all of your clients, and you can send Instagram messages automations using both high level and Meta Business Suite. So if you are getting really pissed off with the A2P registration, if you're getting really frustrated with campaigns failing or messages not going through or whatever, abandon SMS, switch over to Instagram, switch over to Facebook. SMS is not as important as people think it is. Who's seen the stats where it's like 97% of people open SMS messages? Anyone seen those? Cool. Guess how many I replied to? 0. Opening doesn't mean anything, right? I call it the New York effect. Anybody know, like, in New York, how they can tell the tourists apart from the people who live in New York City?
They walk slow.
They walk slow. That's one. And then number 2, if someone is screaming, like going crazy in the street or the subway, whoever jumps and looks at them is not from New York. I'm not from New York, so I will be staring and probably laughing and not handling myself in the most mature way. But that is the New York effect, right? They can smell it a mile away. It's the same thing with SMS. They're going to see, number one, you're going to see like how people are. I think it's going to be really interesting to see how the carriers react to it, but it's not needed. You don't react to it, adjust and pivot, but go to social. If you really hate A2P, I don't use SMS anymore. I'm going to be honest. I think it's a pain in the butt. It is such a pain. Does anybody know how you get flagged? Like, I'm not even joking. Does anybody know how your SMS, your A2P campaign gets flagged? If you have a 3% opt-out rate, if you're saying at roughly 3%, you're at risk for getting flagged. And anybody can message me or comment if once they see the YouTube video, and they can be like, that's not true. Right now, that is what everybody's reporting in the high level groups. Oh, what happened here? All the comments are coming back. Either you use the wrong terminology in the SMS, you use a word in there you can't use, or you had too high of an opt-out rate and it was sitting at 3%. I think what's going to happen, I could be wrong. I think what's going to happen is they're going to lower that opt-out rate, or they're going to increase it, basically saying like, hey, it has to be a higher percentage for you to have the campaign flagged, because these companies are losing money on SMS right now. I'm one guy, I'm not a lot, but I've seen so many people saying I'm done with SMS. Email is better if you can get them to open the email, but social media is the best. It's the best by far. And one thing I mentioned before, I mentioned posting weekly or posting daily 6 times a day, not 6 times a day, posting daily 6 times a week, right? Use your stories, post 3 stories a day minimum. What do those look like? Lifestyle, client testimonial, call to action. If you don't have a client testimonial, don't make one up. Don't lie. Just change it to either a call to action or value you provide in your training. Oh, these are the things we do for your company. This is marketing. This is paying. This is new feature we have dropped. Right. I made a post the other day where I was like, hey, this is why we have, not everybody, but this is why we had a little influx of new members. I made a post like, hey, pricing is going up. So hop on board before the pricing goes up. Here are all the features we have coming. People are like, okay, cool. Let me get in before it goes up. And then I have to deliver on that. So how can you do that? This is the really cool part I want to cover on. How can you do that for your business? So we know, looking at the comprehensive marketing approach, which for the newer people, look at the best vertical SWAS offer training. But we know with the comprehensive marketing approach, we know we have 3 plans. We have done for you, done with you, and do it yourself. Here's where it gets fun. With the do it yourself, imagine creating a hub where all the DIY people can not only start, but learn how to do everything. That's what you want to create. You want to create a hub, a central hub for all of this. You want to be the go-to in your industry. Here's what it would look like. Whoever wants me to do an example, throw out an example of an industry. Or type it if you hate talking.
Yes.
You say something, Casey? No. He's like, no, not me.
I was gonna pick a random one, but somebody's wrote fitness, so go with that one.
Oh, I didn't see that. Oh God, I have the messages all
He
the way up.
just said it. That's why I didn't say anything.
Okay, cool. Okay. Tools to scrape IG profiles. Don't scrape IG profiles. What I want you to do instead, IG, I cover this in step 3 training, is very visual. It's very lifestyle oriented. So make lifestyle content, follow 100 to 200 people a day. Anybody who follows you back, you send them a message, you just say, hey, you send a personalized message and you go from there. Your page needs to be lifestyle, but it needs to have sprinkled in. This is why we do the hybrid profile, sprinkled in what you do. So that way they understand kind of, who you are and what you do. It's not too opaque. You want to be somewhat transparent. So fitness. For fitness, if I'm working with trainers, here's what I want. I want them to be able to, when they make an account on high level, number one, all the templates are going to be fitness. All the email templates, all the SMS templates are going to be fitness, fitness, fitness. Then I'm going to have training. All the training is going to be about what content to make, what groups to engage in, how to register for A2P, how to update your website, how to write emails, how to start email campaign. It's going to be all of those walkthroughs and tutorials tailored to their industry. So when they join, it truly can be a do it yourself. And so they will stay for life because you are constantly look at what I do. I'm constantly putting out resources for you guys to always learn. I'm always getting feedback. Do the same thing with your people. Hey, I'm getting feedback. I'm creating trainings that help you understand the technical component, understand the marketing component, understand the fulfillment component, right? But again, and also you have to understand your industry, right? We know for a fact, fitness is 99% accountability, right? So all of your training needs to be on how you're translating that value. Same could be for any industry. If I'm talking about HVAC or home-based services, guess what I need to do? I need to have a training on how to stack the high-level software with Jobber, with Service Titan. If I'm talking to wedding photographers or videographers, I need to have training on how to use the Knot, how to use resources that are all designed, directories that are designed for your industry, right? That's why if we look at the comprehensive marketing approach, the DIY is the last thing we do because we do the done for you, which helps us build the process. We do done with you, where we coach in the process, we gather feedback, and then we create bite-sized bits of content that goes into the do it yourself. You're going to have fewer done for you. You're going to have way more DIY. But if everybody stays, you don't lose. So those videos help keep people, those trainings. So you create a hub on the website. Guess what you're doing? You're putting affiliate links. You're writing blogs, and it's all about how to do this, how to do this, how to do this. And guess what? Our resource has it. So sign up today. Imagine if I'm talking about fitness and I have a whole blog that's all about, and it's a keyword rich, and it's all about starting your digital presence as a fitness trainer, or even better, a case study. Hey, here's how we got this fitness trainer to 20K a month in 4 months. And then it's the VSL, right? The agitating content. The blog can be the VSL in text form. You can pull the transcript, you can throw it into ChatGPT, you can say, hey, put this into a blog format. Then you go in there and you tweak it, make sure it looks human, make sure that it makes sense, make sure it doesn't sound too rigid. And that becomes your blog. And then the call to action at the end. And at the end, with the call to action, you litter all the benefits. When you sign up, we have trainings on this, we have this and that, we handhold, we have backend support, Extendly, right? You just use Extendly and they white label the support for you. And then you can throw in coaching calls, you can throw in whatever you want to throw in. You have a community. Why do you have a community? Because people who are stuck, you're going to upsell into the done with you plan. Hey, I will work with you or with your team and we will scale this with you. Some people, I don't have that, but I'll pay you to do it for me. Cool. And you upsell into the done for you, where we are now handling your marketing, your coaching, not the coaching, but the marketing, paid, organic. We're going to handle, maybe we're going to assign a VA to help them. And that's another $1,000 a month. And so essentially you're building a hub where people come to because you have all the resources in order to start and scale their business. And then they can pick, you want to keep doing the DIY route and just have somebody else watch the videos and do it for you, or you're going really big, you want to just let us do it for you for less than the cost of one W-2 employee. And you see how it all ties back in together. And think about this, if you're charging $300 a month and you have 30 clients, that's $9K a month. If you can automate that, that's not too shabby. And then you have 2 or 3 done with you and 1 done for you. That's not that difficult at all. That's not difficult at all. How do I know? That's what I'm doing. I've done with you and done for you, and I have a DIY. And I still, to this day, close clients at $97 for my DIY people. They still come in at 97 bucks. But guess what? Once we do the setup for them and they work and they're like, oh, this is going really well, I want to do more. Cool. Guess what my upsell is? Business coaching and consulting. Because if I'm making them 10K a month, do you think they care about paying me 1 to 2K a month? That's probably the best money they've ever spent. So building a hub, it really boils down to this, and then I'll see if there's any questions, and then we'll wrap up. It really boils down to providing value and creating content that pushes people to realize that there's value, but they have to commit to truly get the most out of it. That's essentially what it boils down to. The blogs, the short form, the long form content. It's all establishing you as a credible person. It's all eliciting an emotional connection. It's all providing yourself as the solution. And when it comes to content creation, I've had maybe one person ask this, but I foresee a lot of people asking me this. With the content creation, do not be afraid to share all of your secrets. Don't. Because at the end of the day, 0.01%, and even that is high, 0.01% will actually use that free information to do anything. Like, how many of you have seen Gary Vee videos, right? How many of you actually gone out and started reselling or flipping and you're still doing it to this day? Or how many of you have watched like Grant Cardone, and I can't stand the guy, sorry, Grant, but Grant Cardone, and you're like, oh, I got to go do what he told me to do. And I gotta listen to every word that drips out of it. No. Right? How many of you see my content and you're like, I've got to do everything he said? Probably not. Right? Yeah. The 10X guy. Right? So well, I didn't see that too. What if I do high ticket pay in full or short-term payment plan? Naman, can you explain that a little bit more in depth? And Casey, yeah, Naman, before I grab you, let me answer Casey's question. Yeah, 3 stories a day. I have testimonials. I do this on my page. I also do it on my business page. On the page, look at what I do, right? Tim posted a testimonial earlier today. I posted that right on my page. And I basically said, this is what SASO students do. They close. Because how many people in high level groups would love to close at 345 or 365? He said it was some weird amount because of the Canadian currency conversion. How many people would love to close a client like that? Right? 10 of those that's over 3K a month. And if you look at the work he's doing for that individual, it's not that much. And that's not putting Tim down. That's hyping him up. He crushed that. Imagine closing one of those a week, right? After 12 weeks, crushing. So the stories, to answer your question in full, is lifestyle is huge. I cannot explain that enough. If you post business, what do you think your audience is going to think when they see you posted a new story? It's going to be ask me, pick me, love me. No, engage, entertain. They want to work with you because they want to know who you are. Look at the Neil Patel case study where he did, do I want to show more case studies or do I want to show something about myself? When he split tested the email with his family and the about me, and actually had no case studies in there. I want to say that the conversion rate, it performed 65% better. It's some astronomical number. I'm going to say 65 because I think that's very, very low compared to what it actually is. But I'll look it up and try to find the answer for you guys. But the difference in the performance was nasty. It was so nasty that he was like, ooh, what is this? Let me pay attention. It wasn't like he split tested. No, he split test one time, and off of one time, he was like, holy cow. So you have to share who you are. People will resonate with you. Think about like how many of you guys have heard, this is like the big thing when I was younger, probably when a lot of you were younger. You have to get into a good school because of the networking. You go to Harvard, people will hire you just because you went to Harvard. If you went to an Ivy League, they'll hire you who's heard that before? Right. They do that because they can connect with you on a personal level and it establishes authority. You can do that in content. I post stories all the time of my 2 little weenie dogs or my 3 weenie dogs. That has nothing to do with business. Guess how much engagement I get off that? Not very much. But guess how many people have closed on the stories? Because they open that wondering what they're going to see, or a picture at the gym. Now, I'm not doing shirtless selfies, don't worry. But like, at the squat rack, or you know what I mean? Or I'm walking in to get food, or people will love to see just what you're up to. It's like the Truman Show. Has anybody seen that movie with Jim Carrey? They just watch this man's life and he's trapped in a bubble and he has no idea he's being filmed. Yeah, I'm glad Tony's here. He can always relate to me. Yeah, the Truman Show is like a great example. People will watch boring stuff if they're just able to be a little bit nosy to see what's going on in your life. So you start with the hybrid post, which is about you. You can do as many of those as you want, but the order goes about you, client testimonial, win. Why? Because if I post that I'm very blessed, very blessed. So please don't take what I'm saying as conceited. I'm very blessed. We just moved to a place in Florida. Um, we are looking at moving into a condo very close to the beach. We're super, super blessed. The business has done really well. That's why we started SASO University as well. But when I move into the condo, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to post a bunch of pictures in the condo. It's going to be real cheesy. Heads up, probably don't look at my Instagram for like 2 months. It's going to be painful. It's going to be painful for me taking them. If you know me, I hate that kind of crap. I'm going to do it anyway. Why? Because if people say he is successful, or he is living this life, or it's 3 o'clock on a Wednesday and he's not at work, they're going to assume that I'm successful. Ergo, they're going to assume that I know what I'm doing. Ergo, they're going to want to also do what I'm doing. Oh, what's the order of that? Successful. I want to be that. Client testimonial. He's helping other people also be successful. Because when Tim made money, guess how much money I made when Tim made that money? Nothing. He pays $25 a month, I'm pretty sure. And he just made off of the trainings and off of everything. He just closed. I want to say it was let's just say 350. I think it's more than that. Let's just say 350. So in one call, he just 10x'd or over 10x'd his return for the month. Right. So it's an irresistible offer. So I'm winning. He's winning. You can win too. Call to action. That's exactly why, Casey, we do that 3-step right there. And when I say 3 to 6, guess why? Because you can repeat it twice. Lifestyle, testimonial, call to action. Another lifestyle, I went to dinner. Another testimonial, call to action. If you're wondering, what about the testimonials? How do I get those? Or what? I have again, the group is doing really well. I have way more students than I have clients. I only work with between 4 to 6 clients at a time for the DWI and the DFY because I charge them so much money. I have a client I'm closing on the 24th. He's paying me $6,900. I don't need to close a bunch of little clients. And I'm not being disrespectful because if you remember my story, I started with the 97 clients. So don't think, okay, cool. On if I don't know if I think Imram is still here. I went out and I was like, hey, Imram, I'm going to go out and show you how easy it is to close someone. I closed a $97 student or a client, just $97. So I'm saying that to say, when you are doing those testimonials, screenshot them. It can be from 10 years ago. I don't care. You just repost it. It doesn't matter. It's still a testimonial. It's still from your hard work. It could be when you were working for someone else. John is disgusting media buyer. He's nasty. I'm talking 200x ROI. I thought he was full of crap when he told me that. And then he showed me the stats and I was like, and 200 is low. That's a bad month for him. He's being very modest when he says 200x. He has like a 350x month. It's filthy. Nasty. If he's watching this, John, you're a monster. Nasty. And he was doing it by himself. So take the screenshots, whether it's you and your job, you with the business, you with the client, you with the freebie client. I started off the call talking about Bill, who never paid me a penny. That testimonials helped me close big clients because they want to achieve those results too. So you can recycle testimonials as much as you want. Just make sure you're not using the same 2 every day. And don't lie. Don't make them up. Naman, I'll take your question because I know you had one a little bit high ticket, pay in full, or short-term payment plan. We'll wrap up. If anybody needs to jump in the meantime, don't hesitate. I don't want you guys to stay here like feeling like the teacher didn't dismiss you because the bell does or whatever crap. But Naman, I'll take your question and then we'll wrap it up.
Hey, yeah. So I was just basically saying, like, for me, like my program is structured in a way because in real estate, like generally buyers and sellers have like a longer timeline. So to like not have agents fall off of the program because they're all getting results in like the first month, I usually have it in like a pay in full structure, like a short term payment plan over like a maximum of 3 months. Where it just be like they'll just be like have access to like my content and everything that I have for a year. So just was wondering, like, because you were mentioning everything in like a month by month scenario. Um, but like, what's your take on like if it's like an annual thing?
Yeah, I mean, I do high ticket as well. I have I've closed, I haven't gone quite over a 10K deal yet, but I'm usually closing for my high ticket. I'm usually at 49.98 to 91.98. That's usually where I'm at with my high ticket. The closing in step 5 is going to help you. The closing framework, you're going to love it because it is tailored more so to the high ticket closing. So you're going to really enjoy that one. But in terms of the payment, just make sure that you're not overextending yourself, because I once had a 49.98 client for 5 weeks, and they abused me for 5 weeks. And it was well within their right to, is because I did not underwrite my contract very well. So I, like I tell everyone, I over delivered because I wanted to, but man, I worked for that money. So just make sure that you're not stretching yourself thin. Make sure that you're calculating it in a way. Are you doing website setups for them?
No, so another thing that we do is like, ideally, like a lot of realtors already have websites, and the thing is, we try not to focus on websites because, like, IDX websites,
Yes.
like IDX, like that's just like the websites that every realtor has, and they use like a generic IDX website. But the thing is, unless you already have like a good connection with your leads, then they'll come to your IDX website. But a big portion of the public is just going to go to Zillow or Realtor.ca to look,
Beautiful. Yeah.
like leads. So we don't really focus on the website too much, and that's kind of like another selling point as to like how we can drive leads or generate leads to get directly in contact with the agent rather than have like another like middleman being the website.
No, perfect. I love that because the IDX websites, and you can even, what you can do, right? ClickFunnels is actually a little bit better than high level with this, or you can do WordPress. You can have a funnel with IDX integrated into the funnel at the very bottom. The only appeal to this is going to be the exact situation I explained earlier, where some people will follow realtors on social media because they're making such good content. So that can be a selling point where you are offering that. And you can do a one time where you build it in WordPress and you give it, and it's in their account. It can be a rental where you build it in ClickFunnels and they pay you to maintain it. But if you're doing ClickFunnels, because you can't really white label it, if you're doing high level, if they want a funnel, that could be an upsell. And you'd be surprised. A lot of people, a lot of realtors actually want the funnel where it's just an inbound link. So that's something you could add for your upsell. If you're doing the one time, I think it'd be interesting because you're saying you do marketing, which is a monthly thing, but you're doing a one-time payment. Are you, and I know you said consulting, so you're telling them how to do it, or are you doing it for them?
No, it's kind of like done for you. So it's like a set and forget it kind of campaign. So we like just set up like a Facebook ad.
Yeah.
And then it's like, sometimes they kind of need like a revamp, but like we'll generally just set up a Facebook campaign, or and then like a Facebook lead form. And then once like a lead fills out the lead form for the agent, they actually get sent to a VSL. And it's like a white label VSL that we have in place.
Mm.
And what we have is something called like, we try to like differentiate the agent by kind of offering, like the agent is essentially offering something called like a home buyers program or like a VIP home buyers program,
Right, right.
like a home sellers program. So it kind of just like makes the lead want to think like, okay, what is this? Like, it's like a VIP, kind of thing. So we try to just have that in place, but then as part of like the consulting or coaching part, we also like try to get the agent to create their own VSL.
Okay, yeah. So I would I would look at pricing this two ways. Monthly retainers if you're doing monthly marketing. If you're coaching them on VSLs and things of that nature. I don't know if you're doing this already, but maybe like a 6-week program where you're basically working with them for 6 weeks to get them fully coached and trained and brought up to the, brought to the forefront of marketing trends and that nature. Um, I, for me, again, the marketing, that's going to be where I'm going long term. Like that's where you're making your monies in the long term. SEO, organic. Like if I type in realtor online near me, I want my client being as close to the top as possible. Um, so for your marketing, if you're doing like a marketing campaign, or do you do marketing campaigns for the realtor or for the property?
No, nothing for the property, it's just for the realtor themselves. It's more focused on buyer leads.
Yeah.
But buyer leads can also be seller leads.
Right,
So
right.
focus more on buyers, and then yeah, so it's like just like a set it, forget it, and then it's just like having the automations, interact with the leads through high level, and then another
Yeah.
step
Why
text.
not charge a monthly?
Yeah, so I have like a monthly for the like I charge a CRM fee essentially.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
like
Oh, yeah. So you treat your initial. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. So you have your monthly. Treat your initial high ticket offer as a setup fee, and then in the setup you have upsells like the VIP access, like the coaching on the VSL, and then on the back end you have your monthly CRM.
yeah,
And then in the CRM you have more trainings, so that way they're really getting a lot of value. So now when you're making your content, you're saying you're standing out even more, right? Hey, we're doing this and this and this. When you sign up, we set you up with XYZ. Then on the back end, you get A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A through W, right? That's how I would market it. A really powerful setup to kickstart everything. Thanks, Jake. Really powerful setup to kickstart everything. And then from there, you have it on cruise control. And where's the appeal in doing that? The appeal is, hey, I'm not going to charge you 5K a month. I'm not going to charge you 2K a month. We're going to do a setup. It's going to kickstart everything. And then we put it on cruise control. So you save money in the long run while making a lot of money and getting you brought to the forefront of marketing in the short run. So it's a full comprehensive marketing approach. And it's done this way because we've seen it work in the past. This makes the most sense in the industry, right? That's where you go into the why in the VSL. So it goes old, proper agitate, why you? Because we have this very intense, meticulous process that works only if you do it the way that I tell you to do it. Here's what the old way looks like, and here's what the top notch new way looks like. In week 1, we do this. In week 2, we do that. In week 3, we do this, so on and so forth. By week 7, it's ready to be put on cruise control, and you ride out the momentum that we built for you in the first 7 months, the first 7 weeks.
right.
What's
Okay.
our competitor doing? They're going to try to charge you 1 to 2K every single month. Well, what are we going to do? We're going to do a sprint. We're going to push you up very quickly to the top of the hill, and then we let you ride the hill down. The only difference is the hill goes for a very, very long way, and it makes you a lot of money as you're sledding.
Yeah, I like that the idea you have for like the 7 week thing because like right now it's like realtors really like I would say lazy. Like they always like right now, a bunch of them are just using the CRM and they're not really focusing on creating their VSLs or anything else. So I
But
guess when
you've got to show that value. And I had to do this with a client the other day. The VSL is clutch because it's going to sell for you. So do you want to hop on a call and remember, B2B is save time, is save money or make money. How much money are you losing by getting on a call and regurgitating and repeating your same sales pitch every time? The VSL will do it for you. That's what you tell them. And you can even say, I will write this for you. I will give it out for me. I had a videography client. I wrote it out for him. It's a 2.5 minute VSL.
I have like a whole like thing where they have all the assets. So it's like on like a Google Slides, and they just have to fill it in with their own information and just film it. So it's like that's already done for them. It's just like they have to like fill it in with their own information essentially and film it, which I don't know, it's too lazy to do it.
It, it's just like fitness, right? And I'm not saying this to put you down in any way. Same goes for what I do, right? What everybody on this call does, it's all available online. No one on this call is doing something that you can't find online. I have my system and my process is very tailored to what I do, but the core principles of it are littered online. So you have to organize it in the same way. But at the end of the day, they're on, they're working with you because they don't want to do it themselves. Because think about this, right? Naman, do you have a website?
Yeah.
Do you have social media?
Yeah.
Did you set up your own website and your own social media?
Yeah.
Why didn't your client do that? They didn't do it because they either don't want to do it or they don't have the time to do it. So they're either lazy or they don't have the time to do it, or they have the money to do it and they value their time more, right?
Yeah.
So when you're doing your discovery call, figure out who they are and you have to tailor your plan around that, right? If they're lazy, then you got to nudge them to do it. If they have money to do it, you can be like, hey, if you don't want to do it, give me somebody else on your team and I will handhold them through the process. But we need this.
Mhm.
Why do we need it? Because it's going to make you money. And here's the thing I want to say, and then we'll wrap up. When they work with you, yes, they're paying you. It is your process. If they don't do what you tell them to do, when you tell them to do it, they at no point can blame you for a lack of results. for me, I have a SASO process, right? That's where the SASO comes from. It's simplify, automate, scale, optimize in that order. You cannot optimize before you scale. Why? Because scaling is going to get you an influx of data that tells us what works and what doesn't work. You cannot automate before you simplify. Why? Because when you simplify, you look at your entire workflow breakdown, you assign what can be automated, what can be outsourced, and what needs to be perfected within the company. So some people all the time, they go, I want to scale. You don't scale before you simplify and automate. Well, you do what I tell you to do because you work for me. Not anymore. You're fired. Because if they do your process out of order, what's going to happen? They're going to get crap results because I have a feeling, Naman, you do your process in order because you know what works and what doesn't. If they don't do it the way you tell them to do it, they're going to get crap results. And guess who they're going to blame? They're going to blame you. You're basically saying, hey, the stove is hot. They're going to touch the stove and they're going to be like, I'm burnt. And you're going to be like, yeah, I told you the stove was hot. And if they go, oh, it's your fault. Cool. You're fired. And it's a tough conversation, but that's how it has to go.
Okay.
So you have a process. Make sure that you're not arrogant about it. Make sure that you're humble about it. Make sure that you always strive to perfect your process. Always. If anyone has imposter syndrome, don't let imposter syndrome tell you you're not good enough. Let imposter syndrome remind you, I need to be good enough for my clients. So let that drive you. But for you, Naman, make sure they know this is my process. You came to me because other people didn't work. You came to me because you wanted me to do it with you or for you. You came to me for a reason. Now, if you're coming to me and you're trying to do it the old way, I have bad news. I don't do it the old way. So either A, let's remind yourself really quickly that the old way didn't work. That's why you're here. Or B, let's go our separate ways so you can go back to the old way that didn't work. I don't know why you would do that, but go for it. And I'm going to go work with people who actually want to get results. It's very assertive. It's very uncomfortable, but it's a lot better than me coming to you and being like, hey, Naman, remember when you told me to do A, B, C, D, E, but I did LMNOP? I'm mad at you. I'm going to go leave a nasty review.
Yeah.
It's
Makes-
painful.
Yeah. So kind of like doing it for essentially like kind of, yeah, like more like just providing as much value, kind of just doing it for them essentially as well.
Yes. Understand there's 3 different types of clients, right? Who they want you to do it for them. They want you to help them do it, or they want to do it themselves and they just want you to tell them how to do it.
Yeah. So I have to like figure that out first and then basically follow through with it.
That's basically it. And if you watch the best vertical SWAS offer training, it tells you exactly how to build out every single program and process.
Okay. I'll watch those.
Yeah. But we'll go ahead and wrap up. I know we went a little over. I appreciate you guys asking all the questions. This is for you. So I'll go ahead and stop recording.